18 years ago, the US government intentionally sunk one of its own aircraft carriers. Wait, this one? Why did they do this? And why did they film it? But more importantly, where is it now? Because all of a sudden, I've got a burning desire to rent a remote control submarine, take it out into the middle of the ocean, explore this abandoned ship, while also using it to go deeper than any human has ever gone and come back with a shell to prove it. Our story begins at my desk a few weeks ago after clicking what I thought was a clickbait YouTube video titled Sinking an Aircraft Carrier. It was not clickbait. Here's what I learned.
This is the USS Oriskany. She served in the Vietnam War and was eventually decommissioned in 2004. The government spent $12 million to blow her to smithereens and used the ship as an artificial reef off the coast of Pensacola, Florida.
Wait, what's an artificial reef?
Essentially, if a ship is sunken properly and all the harmful materials are removed, it becomes a hub for ocean life to thrive. I guess you could call it the Great Carrier Reef. Since it, you know, like the Great Barrier Reef in Australia.
For some reason, that video really opened the floodgates for me, and the Googling began. It didn't take long to realize that the wreck has become a world-renowned spot for scuba diving, but every single dive video I watched, the divers basically just float around the tower area. I couldn't find one video where a diver went all the way to the bottom, and that's when it hit me. What if I went all the way to the bottom? Now, any diving I've done on this channel has only been 5 feet deep with a jetpack on, but unfortunately this ship sits on the ocean floor today at 212 feet. Your average diver will maybe go 140 feet at their deepest. So, in order for me to go 212, I'm gonna have to do years of training to get my tech diving certification, or I could just buy this remote control submarine that could do it for me.
It's $4,000, that's a lot. Should I buy it? I cannot.
Oh look, I can just rent it.
Submarine, baby, submarine. Can't believe it's got a claw machine. Submarine, baby, submarine. Coffee breath, eat some Listerine. Submarine, baby, submarine. Now I'm in Florida with a submarine.
Can you say Florida?
Submarine, baby, submarine. What can go wrong with doing a submarine?
Yeah. Cool transition to hotel pool. I'll need to figure out how this works pretty quickly considering the expensive charter boat is booked for the next morning. Oh, and this is John Mark. He's one of my buddies from back home in Atlanta. We came up with a few tests just to make sure my claw skills were up to par for the open water.
Why is it sinking?
Because it's not on. Shocker. Once I figured out how to turn it on, Mrs. Submarine yelled at me. Didn't love that, so I threw my flip-flop at her. Mostly because I gotta figure out this claw thing, and I attempted to grab it. Failed. Tried again. Failed. Tried another time. Failed again.
It's so hard, dude.
I almost felt like a teething infant needing to bite something, so I grabbed this. That felt awesome. Almost as awesome as chucking my GoPro into the pool. If I was gonna pick up something from the bottom of a shipwreck, I'd hope I'd be able to pick up this GoPro.
So it's possible. Like, it is possible.
But is it possible 200 feet underwater in the middle of the ocean? We headed to the beach to find out. We roll up to the most beautiful beach, and I'm honestly feeling really confident. I'm setting up everything way faster this time, and as I walk the submarine into the water, I remember thinking, this is gonna be so easy.
That went really bad. Really bad.
And it's not a great sign, especially if I'm actually trying to dive all the way down to see this abandoned aircraft carrier. But I do still need somewhere in the ocean to test this, preferably somewhere with no waves.
Somewhere like a marina. Somewhere like a marina.
A great marina with a little wind, but no current really. And because of that, we were able to finally utilize the 600-foot tether that it has and really see what this little sucker was made of.
Submarine, baby, submarine. Can't believe it's got a
Well, for one, we started getting attacked by something in the water. I don't know what it is, but I just kind of start opening and closing the claw back and forth. This random guy shows up. I have no visibility. All I see are bubbles, and then...
We got a fish. Oh, let's go.
First time I ever seen anything like this. Wow. And you got too close and you just say,
It looks like a rainbow trout, I think. We got dinner.
I wouldn't go dinner with you. It's up to y'all. How long have you been down there? You know?
I mean, he doesn't look that old. Because he wasn't. Derek ended up being a great sport about us pranking him. The actual hope was to prank you guys. And then he just walked up, so we just kind of stayed in the bit. After a good laugh with Derek, we packed up and headed to the dive shop where I chartered the boat. I had a few questions about the shipwreck that I needed answers to. If I were to like grab like a rock or like something, where would that be? Or if there was like anything interesting that would be like grabbable?
There could be rocks, there could be shells. Neither one of us have gotten to do it yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good to know. But am I gonna be able to see anything down there?
So we have had it to where, I mean, this could be 30 or it could be until you can't see anymore.
What do you think we're gonna run into tomorrow?
Barracuda are pretty common.
Grouper.
Goliath grouper?
Yeah, they'll bark at you.
Underwater?
Yeah, underwater.
What does it sound like?
A bark.
See a lionfish or two. They're the invasive species, of course.
We've seen whale sharks come through with Riscany.
That's crazy. Well, what's crazier is this weird parade float replica of the USS Riscany that they just have sitting out here in the garage. Basically, up here,
Yeah.
this is where everyone will be diving.
Yeah.
And no one dives.
No one really dives to the sand.
I've never had anybody come back and report that they didn't. But
So we don't know if anyone's ever done it.
I personally haven't met anybody who's done it.
Do you want to see it? We have it in the back.
Yeah. Does it have a name?
No, we haven't named it yet. We should totally name it.
So it is 7:30 p.m. Plugged in our mini submarine, and it wasn't taking charge. We're realizing that the mini sub isn't necessarily working, and we go out to our charter boat at 7 a.m. tomorrow morning. So,
An hour and 15 away in Alabama.
hello and welcome to Submarine Troubleshooting 101. Step 1: optimistically search on Facebook Marketplace for a new one.
He's asking $750. They retail on eBay for $500. It is one review online. It's 1 star. All of the bad reviews are true. Absolutely terrible. 6 months and never worked.
Step 2: frantically take apart something that you don't understand. I don't know why I took it apart, because I could be looking at the problem right in front of me and have no idea. Step 3: begin panic exhaling. Step 4: use weird forums and how-to videos to give yourself false hope that you can actually get the submarine to turn on.
And now. And now.
Do it!
And now.
Do it! And finally, step 5: come to terms with the fact that your best bet now is to get to the marina early and ask if any of the dive shop guys happen to own a remote control underwater drone submarine thing. It's a Hail Mary, but it's all we've got at this point. We show up the next morning early with beer, hoping that'll help us somehow. We meet Captain David and begin to explain our situation. Before you know it, it's Hail Mary time. John Mark does the honors.
You don't know anyone with a backup submersible, do you?
I don't. That's not something we...
You do?
Yeah.
What do we got?
He lives on the other side of that bridge. So we could call him real quick. His name is Travis Griggs.
Every once in a while, I find myself in moments like these feeling like I am living in a movie. A very sad movie where Travis doesn't pick up. So like wave goodbye as they're leaving. It's kind of like, yeah. And I know we need to get the shot, but I don't like doing this. Oh, is it the camera up? What? I see you. My God. I don't want to do that. So that makes me uncomfortable, but I understand for the story, this is important, but I don't like that.
I hated that.
This was also my first time spending this much money, if I'm being honest, on an idea that just didn't work. And that was hard to deal with. got back a few days ago. I spent too much on this one. I just thought it would work, so I thought I could. But then I remembered something kind of strange about Captain David. Right before the boat left, I kind of opened up to him and explained how this money stuff was actually freaking me out. Maybe 10 minutes later, he starts looking around and says, "Hey man, I've got something for you, 1 second." He then walks onto his boat to grab something, but by the time he got back, his friend and I were talking again. He proceeds to walk up to John Mark and then discreetly hands him this card. And then right before the boat leaves, he points to the card in John Mark's hand and says, "If you really need money help in LA, call my guy." I really appreciate this, but I just don't imagine I'm actually gonna call some random number and meet up with some random guy who supposedly knows how to solve these types of problems.
I'm pulling up right now.
Oh, right now?
I see you.
Okay, yeah, I see. Yeah. So what exactly?
Yeah, I got what David asked for. He told me about your situation.
What do you ask?
He told me about your situation.
Oh.
So I'm acting like a narc. Is it? Briefcase open?
Oh, I don't. You know, actually, I think I'm good.
Just drove all the way here. You know about the suitcase. What are you talking about?
I don't know what's going on.
Get over here and open the suitcase. Stop wasting my time.
Okay. Opera's a web browser that's faster, safer, and smarter than all the default browsers.
And it's the reason Preston gets to go back to Florida.
I'm actually booking the flights back to Florida as we speak. Unfortunately, I suffer from a little thing called tabfinity disorder. But Opera's tab islands make organizing my tabs so much easier. I'm able to group all of my flight tabs on this little island, making price comparison way easier. And then, let's say I'm on a plane flying back to Florida, and I realize, oh no, I forgot my charger. Opera has a battery saver mode that will actually allow you to browse up to an hour longer.
Wow, me likey. Me also likey Opera's native browser AI called Area. I've used it a ton when researching for the Sunken ship specifically. All I have to do is highlight a word, click explore more, immediate in-depth explanation on whatever you highlighted.
This is so sick.
I know.
I really love this browser, and I'm very thankful that they sponsored this video. So please go download Opera today using my link below. While you do that, I'm gonna go to the airport. The rental company ended up feeling really bad and gave me a better, more expensive underwater drone. Introducing
Todd Sr.
But his battery is enormous and kind of looks like a bomb. So just in case I can't get this through security, I also bought the cheapest mini submarine you can get.
Todd Jr. the third.
But let's hope we can get Todd Sr.'s battery through security, because I am a little doubtful of Todd Jr.'s performance considering the not so fortunate fate of his father. R.I.P. All right, they all made it through. Great, appreciate it. They didn't really ask any questions about the Amazon box. He did say that if it's damaged, they're not gonna cover that, so. Now the real question, will this enormous battery make it through TSA? Because that battery is in my backpack, which I throw into a bin and just hope for the best. Now the only reason TSA would pull my backpack from the conveyor belt would be if this battery exceeds the wattage limit allowed on planes. Considering it looks like this, I wouldn't be surprised if it does. Wait, why is it going backwards? Unbelievable. Pensacola, here we come. As I find my seat, I look out the window and actually see Todd Jr. III has made his way safely onto the plane. W. But yeah, I still have no clue if Todd Sr. works or not, so I track down a pool as soon as I land in Florida. But wait, who is this man that I'm walking with in perfect synchronization that also has a similar facial structure to me? Oh, it's my dad. Turns out my whole family was in Florida on vacation this week. And if I'm being honest, I didn't want to have to come back to Pensacola and have to do this alone. So getting to see my family was a blessing in disguise. We fired up my new expensive submarine and my dad hopped in the pool with it. I could immediately tell that this one had more power than the last, which kind of makes sense because these underwater drones at this price point are mostly used by research facilities and the military. They're not really built for the everyday consumer like me, but it was very apparent that this one goes way faster than Todd Jr. My dad was very excited about this.
Submarine, baby, submarine. What can go wrong with doing a submarine?
I tried practicing picking up a little rock that you'd probably find in the ocean, and yeah, I actually couldn't get it. I didn't love that, mostly because charter boat number 2 was scheduled to pull in 10 hours. And if I was gonna pull this off, I was gonna need some David Goggins level claw training.
But if you can get through to doing things that you hate to do, on the other side is greatness.
Yeah, this thing is rigged. I'm probably ready for the ocean, I think, and celebrated my newfound claw abilities with my family at dinner before seeing them off and reuniting with Jackson, who helped me with the Apple Vision Pro video a few months back. Together, we double-checked everything we'd be bringing on the boat. I felt myself doing it in almost a neurotic way, just so paranoid that after rebooking the flights and the rentals in the boat, that what happened last week may actually happen again. To make things worse, Captain David called me earlier basically saying that the weather was not looking good for the next morning and he was unsure if we should even go out at all. But somehow, the weather was perfect and our time had finally come. The Oriskany sits 26 miles off the coast in the middle of the Gulf of Mexico. It's about an hour boat ride. And if I'm being honest, I was a little nervous about getting seasick, so I took some Dramamine once we got going. I asked Jackson if he wanted any, but he said he was good. Before we knew it, we had made it to the exact coordinates of the wreck, and there was absolutely nothing but water in sight. We were completely alone. Which reminds me, let me introduce you to the crew. We've got Captain David, Dive Master Jason, and of course, our first order of business, anchoring. Dive Master Jason suited up and dove down to actually connect our anchor to a floating buoy that's attached to the Oriskany. This way our boat would float directly above the wreck. Once Jason got back to the surface, he told us,
we probably got 70 feet of visibility. Gorgeous down there.
Yes. You would not have had this last time.
Oh, that makes me so happy, dude.
The Venice was nowhere near.
Really?
Clear, yeah.
Really? With no time to waste, I prepped the submarine for the dive. Jackson drops it in the water, and I fired up. The past 2 weeks had led to this moment, and yeah, we had an interesting start. The current was way stronger than expected, and immediately sucked the sub out pretty far. There's Todd. Hey, Todd. Second, I'm just seeing blue everywhere. I don't know which way I'm going. I have no visible reference point, and this is very hard. But thank God for Captain David, who's been here hundreds of times and was quick to give me advice.
Okay, is that attached to this white line?
Yes, and then from there, it's going to be a cable that you're following down.
Oh, look, a jellyfish. I'm also pushing Todd's battery super hard to stay close to that cable, but the current doesn't really stop, and I lose sight of it, eventually getting completely blown away. It took a good 5 minutes reeling him in. The battery went from 100 down to 71%, and yeah, we needed a new plan of attack. And on top of that, the Oriskany decided to take just a little bit more of my money. Which is okay, but definitely a bummer. All of a sudden, everyone kind of starts spitballing ideas on how we can get Todd down to the ship. And then Jason says,
you want to drive there or you want me to take it?
Interesting. Okay, new plan. Jason will dive with Todd down to the ship and place him on top of the tower to avoid the current and save what's left of the battery. That way I can dive from there all the way to the bottom of the ship. Jason does exactly that, and then it happens. I see the ship in my monitor for the very first time.
Oh my gosh, he has set me on the boat.
And to finally see it was actually pretty surreal. Just to know that we're casually floating above this enormous 900-foot long metal object is completely mind-blowing to me. For reference, that's like 26 school buses long. And right now I'm only here, but I'm about to go all the way to here. Like, look at this. It's almost out of a post-apocalyptic movie or something. And I'm just diving deeper into it. I start to pull backwards as I dive, making sure to keep the tower in view as my reference point. And of course, the current starts dragging me further away from the ship almost immediately. This was not the plan. Meanwhile, Jason is having the most pleasant underwater experience imaginable. I gave him my GoPro. Isn't this crazy? The flag like that just waving underwater? Here's some more footage from the documentary. This is the ship underwater right after it had sunk. So to see how much coral has grown on the ship in these past 18 years is just nuts to me. Like, look at all these fish. Thousands of them. Like, the whole artificial reef thing makes way more sense to me now. Meanwhile, I'm still in the boat just sweating. But Jason saw barracuda and this enormous Goliath grouper and whatever this fish is and that one. Like, look at all these. And look, this is the side of the ship. It's just like so crazy to me. Jason actually swam into one of the control rooms. Meanwhile, Jackson has completely lost control. And then he turns his flashlight on underwater into the room. It almost looks like a video game or something. Like, oh, and the Goliath grouper follows him into the control room. Oh, and there's Brian. Meanwhile,
I'm not seeing anything.
Yeah, I think you've been blown off.
You think I should just ascend up?
I think you should shoot.
Shark.
It is a shark. How cool is that?
I'm gonna swim towards the shark.
That's
Oh
awesome.
my gosh.
That's awesome.
Hit it, see if it attacks. Hit it with your arm.
Jaws.
Oh my gosh, dude. It's gone. Wow. That was crazy. So we've definitely seen the ship. Big win. Saw a shark. Big win. I think the goal is hit the bottom. We got 39%.
hopefully that would be enough battery to get to the bottom, grab a shell, and make it all the way back to the boat.
Down we go.
And I would try to drop like a 10-15 foot per minute rate.
Okay. Wait, 10, 15 feet per minute?
Yeah, I'd drop it fast.
Oh, fast.
That current.
All right, we're at 30 feet.
Yep. You know what I mean?
Yeah. All right, baby, done it. 37%, 40, 50 feet, 100 feet.
Halfway there.
Go, baby, go. 150 feet, 32%. 190, 200, 204, 205, 206, 211, 212, 213, slowing down, 215. Oh, ground. Oh my gosh, I see a shell.
The submarine's battery will die in 6.5 minutes, and grabbing anything with its claw feels almost impossible. But nothing's impossible if you've got a good motivational flashback sequence.
Yeah, I personally haven't met anybody who's done it.
Really bad.
We got a fish.
You got too close and
Submarine, baby, submarine. Can't stop staring at my screen. Submarine, baby, submarine. What could go wrong and take us up? 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 What could go wrong and take us up?
I got it. You what?
What could go wrong and take us submarine?
Alright, ascending 165, 22% battery, good.
Over the past few years, I've gone on quite a few of these, I guess you would call them unnecessary adventures. And something I've learned time and time again is that right as you cross the finish line, every once in a while, you realize that your finish line may be a little further away than you think.
What do you say, David?
To be honest, I've come to kind of love it. I don't know, the setbacks always just seem to make the eventual win feel a little sweeter, while also reminding you not to hold on to any of the stuff too tightly. And even though my hat feels pretty ironic in this moment, I'm not too worried about it, because in the meantime, I'll be here.